Hi, this is Brett Ingram, award-winning entrepreneur, and today I want to share with you 6 email marketing tools to increase your inboxing, opens, and clicks. Email marketing, quite simply, is the ability to send messages out by email with promotional content. So if I have an email list and it's a list of leads and buyers or whatever else, then I have permission from them to be able to send out messages. And in those messages, I can include links to products, whether they're my own or not, and I can include links to affiliate products where I get paid if they buy through that. And that's ultimately what email marketing is. Now, it's super important to understand that the only people you ever have permission to be able to send email marketing messages to are people that have actually opted into or signed up for your list, bought your products, things like that. So it's never a good idea to just buy a cold list and try to mail to them. That's technically spam. And not only is it not really usually effective, but you're not supposed to do it anyway. But in terms of having a list of leads or having a list of buyers or followers or whatever else, where they've signed up to get more information from you and giving you permission to send them, the idea is we could send them messages and we could send content, we can send things like that, but we can also send promotional messages that are either directly a promotion where we just say, hey, here's a great product for X, Y, and Z, go ahead and buy it. Or we could have some educational content in there. And then, hey, if you want an additional tool to make this even easier, click here. So there's a lot of different ways to structure the messaging. And that's all fine and good. We could talk about that on another episode. But what's super important is to understand that, number one, email marketing is super effective. People think that, email marketing is sort of old school, everything's social media, nobody uses email anymore. Nothing could be further from the truth. I personally use email marketing as a major source of promotion and revenue for my business. I know tons of other marketers that do the same thing and digital business owners. And so ultimately, if we aren't using email marketing, we're leaving a lot on the table. So anyone doing anything online should be always building a list of either leads, buyers, whatever else, capturing that email, capturing the permission to be able to send the messages, because it's super effective. And one of the reasons that it works so well is because, unlike with an advertisement, with a traditional ad, if you're going to go, say, run Facebook ads, right, when you run that ad, as soon as the ad is viewed, you get charged for that or whatever else, and then the ad is gone. And so it might have made an impression, it might not have. It might have made a sale, it might not have, but it's done. When you have someone's permission to send them emails, you could send them emails over and over and over again, and you can do it as often as you want until they either unsubscribe or stop opening your messages. But either way, you're able to send those messages. What that means is, especially in the digital world, but even in the real world, it generally requires a number of contacts before someone is comfortable enough to buy from us. Sales, the old rule of thumb was 7 contacts in order to make a sale. I was in staffing for years, and I can tell you, I would call clients over and over and over again, and I'm feeling like, geez, am I pestering them? Like, am I just being annoying? And they don't answer the phone, or it goes to voicemail, or they tell me they're not interested, or they use someone else. But it's all about timing. Once they know who I am and they've heard from me over and over again, then one time I call and I happen to hit them on a day where they have a need, or their current partner isn't delivering the results that they wanted, and boom, that's how I get my in, and I'm able to ultimately land them as a client. And I did that over and over for years. Well, online sales are no different. In fact, we have less of a relationship with people. So the more that we can message them, the more that we can have contacts with them, the higher the likelihood is that sales go up. But the most important fact about it is, regardless of why it works, email marketing is super effective. It's being used to generate lots and lots of money and lots of sales. And so it should be something that we're all doing it. And the challenge with it though, and this is where the problem comes in, is if we start to build a list, what we may find is when we send messages out, our open rates are very low. The percentage of our emails that are landing in an inbox are very low. The clicks are very low. And we may not understand why. We might start sending messages out and it might work at first, and then all of a sudden our results might plummet. The fact of the matter is, it's a very technical science. And if we don't understand it, and if we don't optimize it, what will happen is, if we don't understand it initially, we'll build this list, we'll send out messages, none of them will get opened or clicked on, and we'll say, this email marketing thing doesn't work. They're all just liars. Like, you can't make any money with this. You can't get any results. If we don't understand, because we don't even know that our messages are never reaching our prospects. They're never getting to the inbox. When we click send, there's a whole variety of things that need to happen for that message to come from where we're sending it to arrive in the inbox, right? If you think about it like mailing a letter, if you mail a letter from your house and you're mailing it to a company or somebody else's house, the mail carrier comes and they have to pick it up from your house. Then they have to bring that to the depot. Then it has to get sorted. Then after it's sorted, it has to get put in on the right truck to the right transportation or the right plane to get to where it's going to go. And then the reverse happens when it gets to the more local area, and it has to eventually get to the other person's house. Digital marketing and email marketing is no different, but there are gatekeepers and guard posts along the way. So if we haven't formatted our messages right, if you send out an email, if you send out a letter and you don't have a zip code on it, right, or a postal code, it will never get there because it's missing one of the key pieces of information. If you don't put postage on there and you didn't pay for the postage, it'll never get to where it's going because it isn't paid for. Same idea with email marketing. There are a number of different rules that we need to abide by, and if we don't, our messages never get there. So we've done all the hard work. We got people on our list. They agreed to let us send messages. Now we go to send messages and it doesn't work. Or worse, maybe it's working and then all of a sudden we watch our email open rates and click rates drop, precipitously drop, not like a little bit, but all of a sudden we're going from like 3 and 4% click rate down to 0.3, 0.4. What's going on? I mean, all of a sudden everybody hates our messaging? No. What happens is there are things that are going on in the background, and if we aren't aware of them, then we are susceptible to having our emails trapped in spam, discarded, blacklisted, and a variety of other things. So I went through this personally myself, and basically what happened was I have a relatively robust and good size list, and they're all buyers. So this is the best kind of list because these aren't people that were just sort of interested or leads. They're people that actually bought from me. So they know who I am. When I send out messages, I generally get good results. And I was getting good results for months and months and even years. And then all of a sudden, I watched my rates drop like a stone. The open rates went way down. The click rates went way down. And I said, what's going on? And I didn't know. I didn't understand email marketing in the back office side. I was just the marketer guy sending out messages. So I had to learn the hard way, and it took me months to get everything back on track and get it going again. And I found ways to figure it out where not only can you see how you're doing with email marketing, but you can also detect potential problems, diagnose current problems, and prevent future problems. And I want to share all those tools with you right now so you don't experience the same problem that I did. And if you're not technical and you don't have any technical skills, don't panic, don't worry. Because what I'm going to show you is tools that you can use that will diagnose it for you, and then you can always just outsource it. It's actually the nice thing about email marketing is, unlike programming and graphic design and some of these other things, is it's actually quite easy to make the edits and changes if you know what you're doing. So if you are outsourcing it, it doesn't cost very much at all to optimize this, but it does take some technical skills. And so people can do that for you, and they can do it for really cheap, especially if you already know what the problem is. So these tools that I'm going to share with you will help diagnose any particular, first of all, they'll help you analyze your current email marketing status and level, right? In addition to that, they will help you diagnose any issues that you might already be having, and they will help you prevent any further issues or future issues from happening, or at least see them early enough that you can make the adjustments. And then you can outsource the fixes easily if you need to. So I found these all through my own email problems. I literally had that problem myself, and I'm an experienced marketer that's been in the business for over 17 years. And I was unaware because I didn't understand the technical aspects of email marketing. So these 6 tools will help you evaluate your current email marketing results. They're by no means an exhaustive list, but they're largely free tools, easy to use, they're all online, and so it's stuff that you can grab hold of and start to use right away and figure this stuff out. It'll help you diagnose any issues and prevent further issues. So the first tool is Google Postmaster. So Gmail is the most popular email service on the planet. So the reason it's super important we understand how Google sees us is because the vast majority of the emails we're going to be sending are going to be to Google users. So if Google doesn't like us, even if everybody else does, it won't matter. My list, when I looked at it, was about 75 to 80% Google. So if you wipe that out, if you say, Google hates you, but everybody else loves you, and I start to send out messages, I'm going to get 1/5 of the results I was getting because most of my emails are Gmail. If you go through your email list, or if you don't have one, when you start to build one, what you'll notice is a tremendous number of them happen to be Gmail addresses. And so it's super important to understand that Google Postmaster is basically like your local post office, but for email. If you sign up for Google Postmaster, it's absolutely free. If you have a Gmail account or a Google account, you just go to Google Postmaster. You can just Google that. It will come up. And what it does is it allows you to add the domain names that you're sending from. So if I have a website, mygreatwebsite.com, and I'm collecting emails from that, and then I'm going to send out messages from Brett at mygreatwebsite.com, what I can do is go into Google Postmaster and add the domain mygreatwebsite.com to the Postmaster service. It will give you a line of code. You add that to your DNS records. Again, if you're not technical, it doesn't matter. It's literally a 60-second setup, and then it will track all the emails that you send from there, and it will track your domain reputation and the IP reputation that are sending. So real quick, without getting technical, there are 2 main elements to anything that you send out. There's the email address and domain that it comes from, which is super important, but there's also the IP address or internet protocol address that it sends from. And that is like a numerical address. The reason there's 2 different values is because your email address, if you're sending it through your own email account, will match the IP that it's coming from. However, let's say you use an autoresponder service like GetResponse, MailChimp, Aweber, one of those guys. If you use one of them, they're sending it through their own servers that have their own IP addresses. So the 2 things that Google Postmaster looks at, and by the way, every internet service provider, so these are 2 factors that impact the ability for your mails to get to where they're going, is the domain name is coming from and the IP address. And both of those need to be in compliance and have good reputation. If either one of them is out of whack, then your emails are going to get dinged and you're not going to get as many delivered. Well, what Google Postmaster does once you've set it up is it takes a few days to actually start to track. So you can't add a domain today and see results today. But in a few days, you can look it up and it will show you what the reputation level is of the IP address, what the spam rate is of the emails coming from that domain, and what the domain reputation is. If the domain reputation is high and the IP reputation is high, you're good to go. It means all that stuff is in compliance and you're good. If either one of those is low, you need to either figure out how to get it higher. You need to change the domain that you're sending from, or change the service you're using to send emails to get a high IP reputation. Now, some of those things will change over time. So sometimes it'll start high and go low. Sometimes if it's a new email address, it'll start low but go high. So you don't panic over a 1 or 2 day snapshot, but watch the trends, log in and check it every couple of days to see what the reputations are like. That will help you monitor it through the eyes of Google, which is hugely important. The next tool is MX Toolbox, and it's just mxtoolbox.com. You could Google that as well. And the two tools primarily, it's a whole suite of tools. The two we're interested in, by the way, both of these are free so far, is the email health and blacklists. So blacklist first is real simple. If you put in your domain name or your IP address, it will check it against all known blacklists. Blacklists are quite simply housing, they're basically email lists of email addresses and domains that are flagged a lot for spam. If you end up on a blacklist, the ISPs, when you send out your emails, will put them right in spam. They'll never deliver them. So you need to avoid blacklists. If you're on any blacklists, that is very difficult to get your email delivered. Now again, some of those will expire over time if you have good email practices. So you can end up on a blacklist and then you could come off of it. But while you're on it, your email deliverability is going to be bad. So you may want to change domains if you find you're on a blacklist. The email health tool, though, is really interesting because what it's going to show you is all of the DNS records and whether or not they're in compliance with what the internet service providers look for. When you send an email out and it goes to a Gmail or it goes to yahoo.com, that service is going to look at the headers of your email. It's going to look at the from address, and it's going to cross-reference that with the DNS records to see whether or not everything you're sending adds up, makes sense, and is in compliance. If any of that stuff is out of whack, it's going to ding your email and not deliver it. Email Health Tool in MX Toolbox will show you problems, warnings, and good, right? So anything that's a warning, not anything too much to worry about. Anything that's green or good, totally good. If it's red and it's missing or wrong, those things need to be fixed. Otherwise, your email deliverability will be bad. Again, that can easily be outsourced. The next tool, or actually two tools, are sort of the same kind, but I use two different ones because it's very valuable. The first one is mail-tester.com. And all this is it allows you to test your email from the other side, from the recipient side. So the tools that we talked about with Google Postmaster and MX Toolbox are being able to test it from the sender side, right? You're seeing from the guys that are directing the email whether or not they think it's good. But at the end of the day, what we care about is that our email gets to where it's going. When we go to mail-tester.com, it's mail-tester.com, it allows you, by the way, again, free, it allows you to send an email to an address that they give you through your service. And when you do that, it receives it and analyzes it. And then it gives you a value from 0 to 10 of how good it is, and it tells you why there are problems or why it's good. This will allow you to see from a recipient standpoint whether or not they're likely to get it. If you have a high score and there's a couple of little dings here and there that are orange, no big deal. You have anything red on there, or your score is like a 5 or a 6, you're not going to get most of your emails delivered. But again, it will tell you what the problems are. So because you could self-diagnose it, even if you don't know how to fix it, you could go on Upwork.com, Fiverr.com, and have someone fix up your email in one day. They can fix it. Now, it does take a few days to sometimes a few weeks to see the results of that. Changes in email, positive and negative, aren't usually overnight. They're usually gradual, and it takes a little bit of time. The other tool that's similar is mailreach.co, and specifically the email spam test that they offer. What's brilliant about this tool, again free, is that it gives you a whole list of Gmail addresses and Yahoo addresses and other email addresses, inboxes that you can send to. And a lot of them are Gmail. And what you do is you copy and paste them, and then you do a test send from your email to all of them. And the brilliant thing about this is when you click on look at the results, it shows you in real time each of those inboxes and where it landed. Landed in the promotions tab, landed in the inbox, landed in spam. So for each of these, you could see a bunch of different Gmail addresses. So you'll be able to see, based on a percentage, how many of those are actually going to get inboxed, how many of them are going to go to promotions or categories tabs, and how many of them are never going to arrive at all. So again, it lets you see from the recipient standpoint how your emails are going to be delivered. Another brilliant tool, totally awesome. And those tools all help you confirm your IP reputation, your domain reputation, whether or not you're on blacklists, and your overall email deliverability. Now, those help you diagnose issues. The next set of tools, these last couple tools here, are going to maximize your inboxing. So they're going to help you improve getting more into the actual inbox. The first of those is Zero Bounce. This is the first paid tool I'm going to discuss because it's valuable and important, and I don't know of any of these services that are free. Zero Bounce allows you to take your entire email list, import it, and it will comb through it to see if there are any spam traps, undeliverable emails, high probability for getting dinged, any of these emails that are problems that other people have experienced issues with. It's like a rolling database of email addresses, and it will clean that for you and spit out a list of valid email addresses that you'll want to send. Now, it can be painful because if you input a few thousand email addresses, it might wipe out 300 or 400 of them if they aren't good and tell you not to send those. And you might be tempted like, oh, I really want to send that. I'm going to get more clicks. The reality of it is the opposite. You'll get more clicks out of what is left because you'll get a much higher open and deliverability rate than you will if you try to send them to them all and let ISPs ding them for spam. Because those lists that clean your list are the same list that the ISPs like Google and Yahoo have. So they're going to ding it if you don't clean it in advance. So that's a really valuable tool. You run your list through it, it cleans it up. It's pretty cheap anyway, but it cleans it up and it gives you the valid email addresses that you can send. Now you only need that if you have high volume. If you don't have over 1,000 emails that you're sending, it's probably not even worth using that. But if you're sending more than 1,000 emails on your list, it's really valuable to be able to do that. And what that does is it helps you analyze your current marketing ability there with your list. The last tool I want to talk about right now is also a paid tool. This one's a little bit more expensive, and it's called Warm Up Inbox. And what this is it actually is a bot that simulates the ability to open emails. So you connect your domain to it, you connect your inbox to it, and it automatically sends emails to your inbox, from your inbox, and then goes in, opens them, stars them, marks them important, and replies. It simulates genuine activity in your inbox from real users. And what that does is it trains ISPs like Google and Yahoo to believe and trust that this email is valuable, that the emails that you're sending from is from a real human, and that it's valuable for people, so they should deliver it. And it seems like it might not be necessary, but in particular, if you're sending high volume, you definitely want to use this. You know, again, if you're under 1,000 emails, you probably don't need it. If your list is growing quickly or you have thousands of emails, this will increase your inboxing dramatically. And it isn't something you use and then cancel. You want to keep it going because it does it on a daily basis, and it increases the frequency in terms of the number of emails it sends, the number it opens, and the number it clicks. So it looks real, like it's real human interaction that will get more of your emails inboxed and more of your emails opened and clicked. Combined, these tools help you analyze your current email marketing effectiveness, diagnose problems, prevent or foresee coming problems, and get more emails inboxed, opened, and clicked. There are more things and more tools too, but at least this gets you going in the right direction and covers most of it. If you see issues and don't know how to fix them when you use this, you can outsource that easily and fast. And note that most changes to reputation and stuff like that don't happen overnight. So even after it's fixed, don't expect it to instantly change. Give it some time. So the takeaway here is that email marketing can be a very profitable promotion method when we do it right. Anyone doing anything online should always be building an email list of prospects, fans, followers, whatever, because it gives us the opportunity to reach out to them again and again to build the relationship and also promote products and services, both our own products and services and affiliate products and services that we get paid to promote. But the email marketing landscape is growing in complexity. So if we want to get good results and we want to keep our opens, clicks, and sales coming in, we need to keep our email marketing compliant and optimized.